Hi everyone. Today's guest is redefining the art of fragrance by blending the ancient world of Egyptian perfumery with modern African elegance. She is a visionary behind Tapputi Egyptian Perfume Oils, a family-led luxury fragrance house inspired by timeless storytelling, culture, and craftsmanship. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Alishia van Deventer for a fascinating conversation on the art of the fragrance house, entrepreneurship, heritage, and the emotional journey behind scent. How are you?
Hi, thank you very much. I'm well, thanks, Sid, and you. Thank you for the opportunity and for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for giving me your time, and hopefully, if you enjoy today's chat, it'll be the first of many.
Well, I'd love to. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. The British fragrances draws inspiration from ancient Egyptian perfumery. What first sparked your fascination with this timeless art, and how did that passion evolve into a fragrance house in South Africa?
Okay, so my daughter moved to Egypt about 10 years ago,
Wow.
and that was my first time visiting Egypt. Very shortly after she moved, we went over to visit her, and that's where I discovered Egyptian perfume oils for the first time. I never knew it even existed,
Oh,
and I discovered Egyptian perfume oils for the first time, and it's almost I always say it's almost like Taputi called my name that day, because it wouldn't leave me alone. And I had this thought about if I experienced it so intense, then surely people in South Africa will love this. And
hmm,
I've never seen it in South Africa, and I've always been a fragrance lover. So I started working on it to build a brand from scratch that will bring an exhilarating love obsession to people through Egyptian perfume oils. And that's basically where it started. From there, that was in 2018. And from there, it took me 4 years to develop the brand. So I didn't just get the idea and ran and said, okay, now I'm selling perfumes. I really took 4 years to research and to find the right. I think the most important thing is to find the right perfumer and the right Egyptian oil company, production company to work with. Because we sell only 100% pure Egyptian perfume oils, I had to find the real guys, and they don't really share information quite eagerly, people. So it
hmm.
took me 4 years to find the biggest Egyptian perfume oil manufacturer in the Middle East that I deal with. And together we've developed over about 31 fragrances that we've released. So, but yes, so I started in 2018, and then in 2022, end of 2022, we launched the brand in South Africa. And yeah, that's very exciting.
Awesome. The name Deputy carries historical significance connected to one of the world's earliest known perfume makers. What does that legacy mean to you personally and professionally in 2026?
Okay, so Taputi, in my research, when I was searching for a name that I would call the brand, that's how I came across Taputi. So Taputi was a chemist and an alchemist, and she was the very first chemist, 1200 BC, that created a distillation instrument to
Mhm.
distill perfume and to make perfume. So it's important to understand that Taputi wasn't the first person that ever made perfume, because I see people get confused about that. Um, the Egyptians started making perfume 5,000 years ago, which about
Wow.
3,000 BC. They started making perfumes, first of all. Then came Taputi, and she developed this distillation process, and she just took it a step further. And what fascinated me about her was the fact that she's described, there's not a lot, you can't read up a lot about her, there's only like this much. But what fascinated me about her, and the more I researched her, is that she was a chemist in those days, which means she had a profession. She was also the head of the king's palace, which means she had a very high professional role that she played. And she was the head of her household. That's how they describe her. And that just fascinated me because that's what I pulled through to our brand and to us as women in South Africa in 2026, that we are professionals. So many of us are doctors and professional people. We stand at the head of companies. We're CEOs, like she was the head of the King's Palace. And we are all moms and grandmoms or sisters, and we take care of our households. So it's really that already started way back. And for me, that resonated extremely strong with our brand. And but that's what Tapputi means to me personally. That it's an amazing place for a woman to be, and we all love perfume and beautiful things, and so did she.
Fascinating. Building a family-led fragrance brand comes with both emotional rewards and challenges. How has your family shaped the vision, culture, and identity of Tapputi fragrances?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, my daughter moved to Egypt, and through that, I discovered the perfume oils, and she still lives in Egypt. And I'm starting with her. She's the face of the brand as well. And she's also our creative director in Egypt. So all the beautiful photo shoots and all the beautiful, because we only shoot in Egypt. So all of that is her. She puts all of that together and she puts all the creativity behind it. I bring the ideas and she brings the creativity. So we collab really greatly together. And then I have my little girl, Mia. I was very blessed to fall pregnant when I was 45. So I have a
Oh,
little girl, Mia, that's
wow.
9. And she embraced the brand. She's forever mixing her own potions and designing bottles and everything. And then I've got my husband, Steve, who, when I started Tapputi, he was 100% convinced that I was going to lose every single cent we have. I used all our savings. I used every last penny of our savings that I had to start Tapputi. And he wasn't there yet. He couldn't see the vision I saw.
Hmm.
Today, he is the managing director of Tapputi.
Wow.
So it shifted quite dramatically, and the whole family is involved. And we all share the same vision. We share the vision. We see the picture. We know where we are heading. I always say that we are all delusional about the brand. If you're not delusional about the brand, you can't be in it. So yeah, that's the challenges are, it's time consuming. That's our life. Tapputi is our life. That's what we do. But it's rewarding.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to passion. So I wouldn't use the word delusional. I think it's just more a passion. I think if you have strong passion for something, it's what you live and breathe it, if that's correct.
I think it's passion, but I think it's total delusion. It's my world. It's my world, and it's people laugh about it. But I do believe that if you do not 100% believe in your brand,
Yeah,
100%, then you cannot not succeed.
I
Because
agree.
you will have people along the way telling you it's not going to work and pulling up their noses and whatever. And
Mm,
the day when family and friends start buying your product, which is what's happening
mm,
to us now, then okay, all right, let me just stay in my little delusional world.
awesome. Fragrance is often described as invisible storytelling. When creating a scent, what emotions, memories, or journeys do you hope people experience the moment they wear it?
Yeah, absolutely. So smell is directly connected to memory. And when we design a fragrance or when we put a fragrance together, as you know, our bottles are very visual. We have exquisite bottles, and I work with a perfumer, and I look at the bottle, and then I decide what is going to go with that. Like Habibti is a very um, deep, warm, Middle Eastern smell, but when you look at the bottle, you can see that is going to smell like that. So I put it together like that, and I'm always hoping that women will have a good memory, that when they pick the bottle that they want, they will have a good memory of something that happened, that it will trigger a memory, or that they will make a great memory when they wear the perfume. We've actually, it brings me to wanting to say that that there's so much more about Tapputi than just being a fragrance brand. It's there's a different calling on Tapputi to make a change in people's lives. We've had multiple people write us, but the ones that stands out for me is that we had a lady that had cancer, and she bought Tapputi, and she wrote to us, and she said that it just cheered up her life. It just made her feel better every single time she wore her Tapputi, and she went as far as to buy all her friends Tapputi. And we had another lady that wanted to commit suicide, and she got a bottle of Tapputi, and when she looked at the bottle, it basically said to her that you are beautiful, don't do it. And then we had the one thing that was great is I had a father that wrote me, and he said that his daughter had a really low self-esteem, and he bought her a bottle of Tapputi, a cherry aura, I'll never forget it, to show her that she was even more beautiful and worthy than that beautiful bottle of perfume. So to me, it's like Tapputi is not just a fragrance. It's changing people. It's helping people understand that you are beautiful,
That's really powerful. South Africa has a rich cultural identity, while Egypt carries centuries of aromatic history. How have you blended these two worlds to create something distinctive and globally relevant?
Okay, so I think I want to take it back to, I think it's interesting to know that when Tapputi started making perfume in Mesopotamia, because it's Iraq where she lived, she didn't have all the botanicals that she needed to make all her perfumes. So she started trading with Egypt to get lotus flower and the kind of botanicals they had she needed, because that wasn't in Iraq. And then we're in Mesopotamia. Then she also started trading with African countries. She started trading with countries like Sudan and Ethiopia, because they had myrrh and frankincense. They had other ingredients that she needed. And also, that kind of, to me, showed that fragrance is global. It brings worlds together. It brings worlds together. Just like we import our oils from Egypt, it brings our worlds together. And we're going to go back to Egypt with Tapputi, because there's a demand created in Egypt itself for our brand. So that's how I'm bringing it together. And I think people forget that Egypt is actually part of Africa. So I think I love reminding the Egyptians of that. And then they say, no, we're not. But so there's a very deep synergy between Africa and Egypt. And I think the big thing is for Africa, is important to understand that 1200 BC, when Tapputi needed botanicals, she imported it from Africa, which means that Africa played just as important role in the development of fragrance than any other ones,
Wow, it's really fascinating. In an era dominated by fast trends and mass production, Tapputi fragrances feels international and artistic. How important is authenticity and craftsmanship in today's fragrance industry?
Yeah, so I think obviously it depends on what's your intention and your why. So if there are people that start fragrance houses or perfume companies, and they just want to make money. That's all they want to do. So that's where you will find 3 bottles for $3.99. That's where you'll find it, because the intention is just to make money. The intention of Tapputi is to put a product out that is 100% pure, undiluted, a different product, a product that is aesthetically beautiful. And that influences how important authenticity and craftsmanship is to me, because I want to make sure that Tapputi leaves behind a legacy, that Tapputi is not just another bottle filled with synthetics and water and alcohol, and then sold off for $3.99. To us, if you own a bottle of Tapputi, you own 25 or 30 mils, or however big bottle you buy, of 100% pure Egyptian perfume oil. And I think it should be massively important to everyone, but unfortunately, it isn't an important thing. Uh, yeah, for us, it's the most important thing.
Every fragrance house has a signature philosophy. What would you say is the soul or heartbeat behind Tapputi fragrances that sets it apart from other luxury perfume brands?
Purity, purity. It's perfume in its purest form that we are giving, and it's linked to we call it an exhilarating love obsession, because it becomes an obsession. You want to collect all of it. You don't just want one. Once you get one, you want all of them. And when I refer to purity, it's not fake, it's purity, and it links back to what we want to be as people. We want to be pure, we want to be original, we want to be sincere, we don't want to be fake, and that is what Tapputi stands for, is purity, originality. When you wear it, you know that you're original, that's basically.
Lovely. Entrepreneurship can be deeply personal, especially in creative industries. Were there moments during a journey where you doubted yourself and what kept you moving forward?
Absolutely. I think the one thing about entrepreneurship is that it's even though I've got my family in the business with me and around me, it does become lonely, because everybody doesn't understand what's going on in your mind. Everybody doesn't understand why you will sit until 2 o'clock in the morning to get something sorted out. So it's deeply personal, because everybody can't understand what you are always thinking. It's your job to share the vision with them and to get them to understand the vision. Moments during up to now, I still doubt myself from time to time, especially when I have to do meta ads. When I started the brand, I had no idea about e-commerce, and I had no idea about meta ads or anything like that, and I never thought it would be necessary. And I had a rude awakening, and I had to very quickly learn how to do it and how to understand it, which was a good awakening, because, as an entrepreneur, you want to eventually get to the point where you work at your business and not in your business anymore. But before you can get to that point, you have to work in your business. You have to understand how every single thing works. So for me, yeah, but then I sit down and I still I crack it until I understand it. I think once the one thing I can mention is that someone did once say to me that your little perfume company will never make it, and I think words are so powerful. Words are so powerful. We need to be so careful what we say to people,
Mm.
because those words affected me for 5 weeks. For 5 weeks, I couldn't operate. I was like, I'm a failure. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it, until I pulled myself together, and I know that God is in control of my life. I know that He's in control of everything around me. I know that His blessing is on my business, and until I pulled myself together and I said, no, 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 I'm not going to break off those words. I'm not going to live by those words. I will make it. I am going to win. I'm here to, I play to win. And since that day, yes, you do get situations when you feel, oh, shucks, this is too much for me. Or how am I going to get through this? But I will never allow myself again to get to the point where I don't believe I'm going to make it, because I'm going to make it. We're going to win. We're going to play. We're playing, and it's just, if there's anybody out there that doubts yourself, get up and go drink a cup of coffee or go watch a movie and then come back and then try again, but don't give up. Just don't give up.
I guess that comes down to that famous saying, it's a mind over matter thing, if I'm correct.
Absolutely, absolutely. You gotta, and it's also how much you want it.
Mm,
If you want to be successful, you're going to be successful. If you continuously doubt yourself, then
mm.
you're going to continuously live in doubt. So it's what you tell yourself, what you speak over yourself, is your future.
Agreed. The luxury fragrance space is becoming increasingly competitive worldwide. What has been your strategy for building a brand that not only stands out locally, but also has international appeal?
Okay, so I think the very first thing was to do proper research. I will never regret spending 4 years researching the product, researching what I want to do, planning it out, researching the audience, and so I think that was definitely make sure when you want to launch something or do something that you know where you're going and know what you're doing. Now, I couldn't then say, yeah, Tapputi is going to be super successful, even though I knew that it was going to be, but you still got to do your research. And then authenticity, staying true to ourselves, staying true to our vision and our mission, where we are going. There's no shortcuts for us. We do everything original, everything the way it's supposed to be done. And then putting our customers first. Customers, I mean, if you don't have customers, you don't have a business. So putting our customers first, listening to them when they speak, and building a great team. I think that is like the last thing there I want to say is building a great team, because I started Tapputi alone on my own, but then the team grew. And if we didn't have the team together we have today, Tapputi can't operate. Even if I have the ideas, but you need a great team.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, I'll get to my final question and then I'll get to the comment questions. So finally, looking ahead, what is your long-term vision for Tapputi fragrances, and how would you like people to remember the legacy Alishia van Deventer 2 is creating through scent, culture, and storytelling?
Okay, so I think I know you're asking long-term vision. Immediate vision first, right now. Short term is to get everyone in South Africa to know about our brand and to dominate in the existing market. That's immediate vision, and I think also a little bit of long-term vision. But I don't believe in a 10-year plan, because I'm 53, so I can't wait for 10 years. I need to bring time forward. I'm collapsing time at the moment, so I'm working at a great pace. And then we will expand to Egypt within, say, about the next year. We will expand to Egypt, which will help us reach the global stage in a bigger scale. And then we would like to, that's very much for me, is I would like to, in Egypt and South Africa, have an exquisite showroom like nobody's ever seen. A real Egyptian perfume showroom, not a corner of the store shop. And then the legacy for that I would like to leave behind is to always know that you are beautiful, that you're worth it, that you're pure, that you're an original, just like Tapputi. You're not fake. You were made an original by God. Always be an original, and that's through Tapputi, the originality and the message I would like to leave behind.
Awesome. Now let's get to the comment question here. This is from Reshtitan. Hi, Alishia. I love the Middle Eastern fragrances, especially the OUD. How effective are these fragrances? Does the scent linger as long as a European fragrance?
I'm just going to say hi, R, because I'm scared I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name correctly. Thanks for the question. So yes, the Middle Eastern fragrances like the oud is amazing. It's really amazing fragrances. It's more effective than your normal outer perfumes because it's 100% pure original oil. There's no alcohol in, there's no synthetics in, there's no water in, which means that the oil stays on your skin longer when you put it on. However, I always tell people that the longevity of a perfume oil varies from person to person. What will work on Sid might not work on me. It depends on your diet, the climate. It depends on hormonal situation. How a perfume interacts with your skin depends on a whole lot of things. I've had a perfume that I wore, a designer perfume that I loved, and I wore it for many, many, many years. And then one day I woke up and I put it on and it was horrible. just didn't work for me, and I couldn't understand what was wrong. And then I figured out it was because I was going through menopause. Um,
Oh,
uh, Changed how the perfume interacted with my skin. But in my experience, and in my belief and in my experience, the Middle Eastern fragrances and the pure Egyptian oils like Tapputi definitely last longer.
wow, that's really fascinating. I really didn't know that at all. Okay, Alicia, all I gotta say, thanks so much for your time, and I hope to have you once again in the future.
Thank you very much, Sid. I really enjoyed speaking to you, and thanks for everybody that's watching and watched. I'd love to speak to you again.
Take care and God bless.
Keep well. Hey, bye bye.